What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody to another Apple Home Talk live stream. This is a live stream all about building a smart home. I hope you guys are doing well, having a great week. My name is Shane, if you didn't know already. So glad to have you. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope the weather's good. Let me know in the chat where you're from, how's the weather, and how things are going. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. First, I will say we do have some news, a couple things I want to get into and talk about. Not a whole lot of new smart home products necessarily to talk about. There's a couple to mention. We're going to talk about some stuff with Amazon and Lady A and also Siri. Sorry if I just triggered your devices there. I might have triggered mine. But first, let's jump into the chat real quick and say hi to some folks. What's up, Stefan from Denmark? Bruce Randall, what's up? How's it going, everyone? Let me fix that chat box there. Let's see. Let me know if you guys can see that. And also let me know if you're watching on your mobile phone, on your iPhone or whatever, if you're seeing this in a vertical feed. I'd love to know. We're kind of streaming both horizontal and vertically nowadays. So let me know if you're watching this on a mobile phone and you're seeing a vertical feed, and let me know how it looks. What's up, Frank? We got the Netherlands in the house, wet Netherlands. All right, it's been nice here, man. I'm not complaining one bit. We had like 75-degree weather yesterday and today, so things are back to normal after all the crazy snow and all that ice and stuff that I just don't really like that much. What's up, George? Good to see you, man. Shout out to Frederick, also Frederick and Brian here in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here and helping out. Juan says, good afternoon, my Apple home friends. Beautiful day in Virginia. Too bad I'm working late today, but we'll be listening in the background. Awesome. Well, Juan, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And Larry, what's going on, Larry? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well also today. 29 and cloudy, counting down the weeks till I can get out of here for a bit, Brian says. Yeah, man, we had just enough of that cold snow. I am not a fan of that, not a fan. Oh, we got a fellow South Carolinian in the house. What's going on, Jacob? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Enjoying the podcast. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, we got a new podcast if you guys want to check that out with my wife. We just kind of rant for a while about all kinds of stuff in life. Actually, we did talk about smart home security and cameras and stuff. We had some questions in the last episode. Was that this week's episode? I think it was, where we talked about cameras and security and stuff. So we get into tech a little bit there as well. UK's in the house. What's going on, Edward? Raining there. HomeKit Authority also in the UK. Thanks for tuning in. Cali girl, what's going on? California, watching on the iPad. Okay, nice. Probably a horizontal normal feed on the iPad, I assume, for the live stream. Good weather, I'm sure, as always, usually is the case in California. Brian says, oh, I won't repeat because I don't want to trigger everyone's Apple devices. Yeah, so, oh, thanks, Frederick, for the super chat. Awesome. Super chat from Frederick. We pop that up there. Thank you so much for that super chat and also for letting us know. Says, checked on the iPhone and it's horizontal. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That's a YouTube thing, I guess. Yeah, they have this feature now where you can do dual streams, basically. I guess maybe it's showing up in the shorts feed for some people. I don't know, but we're rocking on like normal here. At least we got the normal stream as always, and you can watch it, however you can watch it. But thank you for the super chat, Frederick, and for sharing the feedback there. Missed the super chat sound. Yeah, okay. I'll get that fixed, Jeff. The super chat sound. I I need to get that fixed. I think I've said that for a couple weeks now, but I'll work on that. I've got some changes too coming to the live stream, some minor things, but always working, trying to improve these. Brian says, oh, we'll say Sally. Sally. Yes, Apple's voice assistant. So for those that don't know, we'll touch on this real quick. And if you guys have any, questions or thoughts on this, feel free to chime in. But this just came out, like today, I guess it was. Yes, looks like there could be some more delays in, we were hearing that Sally updates would be coming soon. Mark Gurman posted a long article basically talking about some potential issues maybe right now. We were expecting to see some updates coming in the spring with 26.4, I think. And definitely some big updates. The full-fledged revamped Sally should be iOS 27, I'm guessing, but it's looking like there may be some more issues and delays and holdups. I'm not going to dive too deep into all that because to me, it's just more of the same stuff we've been hearing forever. If you guys have any thoughts on that or want me to answer any questions about that, I'd be glad to. But yeah, we've just been hearing these types of rumors for so long. But I will say that kind of ties into Dan's question here. Shout out, Dan. What's up, man? Thank you for the member chat and also for being a channel member for 49 months, man. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for that. And Dan asked, question, when will we see an Apple HomePod in 2026? I sure hope so. Or it says, will we see one? Excuse me. I want to replace Lady A in my kitchen so badly. Yeah, and I feel you, man. I do too. I have been waiting for this type of device for, at least a couple years, like many of you probably. There have been it's part of the reason why I'm kind of annoyed with all the whole rumor mill, because we've been hearing rumors about specifically this device among, every other Apple related thing, but specifically this device, some sort of home pad, some sort of smart home hub with a screen. We've been hearing about it literally for years now. Still not here. I'm sure these Siri delays are a big reason why that product has probably been delayed. So my assumption is until they get, Siri right, we're probably not going to see these devices, these new home devices hit the market. So I, kind of just watching and seeing the development there of the voice assistant. And once that gets fleshed out and released is when I assume we'll see that. I do think it'll be 2026. Hopefully, by WWDC, I would hope at the latest we'll at least hear something. Again, who knows? There's rumors up in the air all the time. It's kind of always changing. I do think it'll be this year, though. I think it kind of needs to be. But then again, I also thought that last year. So you tell me, what do you guys think? Let's check out the chat here real quick. I see some questions coming in. I'll save these questions here for later. What's up, Brandon? Brandon Doyle's in the house. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Oh, a lot of questions here. Okay, I'm going to save these questions. Torin, what's up, Torin? Torin thought Brian was just singing there to his voice assistants. No, not the case. There is some not so good news, or in the rumor mill anyways, about it. So Larry says, I'm excited by it because when it does come out with the app Intense, maybe I'll be able to say, hey, Sally, what's my blood sugar reading? And it'll be able to read off my phone. Yeah, I was actually kind of thinking about this. So I was thinking about this lately, right? So regarding the new smart home product with the display that inevitably I assume we're going to see one day. I think we could get some really nice automation capabilities also with this. So I made a video about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, kind of talking about just like the current state of Apple Home and stuff. And one or two of the comments in that video were talking about the fact that we still cannot create a basic Apple Home automation that triggers some sort of voice prompt or voice message on your HomePods. And that's just one of like the many factors or one of the many limitations, I should say, regarding those Apple Home automations. You can do that among a lot of other things through personal automations on your iPhone. And the reason is on your iPhone, when you're running an automation or a shortcut on your iPhone, or your personal device, iPad, whatever, your Mac even, it's able to use all the apps and stuff on your device. Your home automations, those are all processed on your HomeKit hub. Obviously, you know, there's not like all the apps and stuff on your HomePod to be able to do that. But when we get this new, home device, whatever it looks like, the new home hub, it should probably have its own, some new version of software specifically for these home devices, and they should be able to have apps on there. So I'm hoping that because of that and because of app intents and the way this all should work, we'll be able to have a lot more automation capabilities that we can do with our smart home and kind of utilizing those apps and stuff like that. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that's the case. And I think that's what we'll be kind of looking at here in the near future, but I'm not, again, I don't know when that's going to be. What's up, Caroline? Caroline's in the chat. She says Siri's been a real pain in the butt lately on the HomePods. Yeah. What else is new? We have had one HomePod in particular for some reason that lately just does not seem to hear us when we're talking to it. Yeah, maybe we're asking too much of Apple. I don't think we're asking too much, man. I don't think we're asking too much. We're not asking for a whole lot, but I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, totally. Tom says they need to release something, not junk, but little by little, at least at some point. It really might be too late. Tech moves too quickly for it to take an eternity. Yeah, that was kind of like my question to you or the audience in that last video is like, do you think it's too late? I am okay with Apple or, any brand really taking their time to make sure they get it right. And I really hope that's the case when it comes to these new smart home products and stuff that have been rumored. Obviously waiting for the revamped Siri to come is a big factor in that. And I hope that just all the waiting is worth it and that it's not too late. I think a lot of people may have jumped ship already, but hopefully I think there's still room in the smart home market for somebody to really get it right. I don't think Amazon has really got it right yet. They're doing some good things, but I don't think they've got it right. I don't think Google's done it. There is still a space for somebody to really nail this. I don't know if it's going to be Apple, but I am staying optimistic. So hopefully when it comes, it is going to be so good and worth the wait and not junk, as you said. So time will tell. Time will tell. Stay tuned because I am very excited about it. We're definitely overdue. So we'll see what happens. Apple usually isn't first, but I'd still buy it when it comes out, Keenan says. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I mentioned in my last video, I think I said, it's okay not to be first. But if you're going to be last, and we're talking like dead last right now, you better do it right and do it well. So hopefully that's where we're at. Right. Yeah. Dreddy Dreadlocks, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Yeah. So we mentioned this just in the beginning. Yeah. In case you guys missed that, the revamped Siri has been pushed back even further. So according to rumors and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like there's some more holdups there. I'm kind of just, at this point, you know how I kind of feel about rumors if you watch these live streams a lot. So I'm not really getting too excited or amped up about anything right now until I'm kind of looking at WWDC and honestly iOS 27 to really be like the game changer, and anything that comes before that will just be, icing on the cake, if you will. That's just personally the way I'm looking at it, but we'll see. Check out some of these chats. Okay. Yeah, I saw we got some questions. I'm going to get to questions here in a minute, but first I did want to address the Amazon Alexa, sorry if you have one and I just triggered your devices. The Super Bowl commercial. So they're just in the news again a lot, right? So there's lots of articles, lots of videos and stuff we've been seeing. So I did just want to talk about this a little bit in case any of you guys use it or want to know kind of what this is all about. So they had a commercial where they were basically talking about this, what do they call it? A search party for your pets, right? And people are kind of up in arms in there about it. I think a lot of people probably don't understand exactly how it works. So here in this article, I think it was this one here. There was a good explanation of how it works. Maybe it was this other article. Yeah, here's how it works, right? When somebody reports a lost dog in the Ring app, nearby outdoor Ring cameras with the feature enabled use AI to scan their saved footage for a potential match. If a camera spots something, the camera's owner, not the owner of the lost dog, but the camera's owner, gets a notification. They then decide whether to share the clip with the dog's owner. Nothing is shared automatically. The search is temporary, expiring after a few hours, blah, 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 blah. So that is the gist of it and how it works, right? So they kind of had this ad in the Super Bowl, and a lot of people were just kind of freaking out, Big Brother kind of stuff, and I get it. It's funny, somebody mentioned the podcast. We were actually just talking about, specifically, I think we were talking about Ring security and their kind of privacy stance and features in the podcast, and that was before the Super Bowl happened when we recorded that. And it's because this kind of stuff has been in the news and in the limelight numerous times over the years from Ring. They've been known to like collaborate with law enforcement a number of times, over the years. There's been a number of, so like before this whole like search party thing came out with the Super Bowl, a lot of people were talking about their, well, here, I'll just show you this article right here. Ring using flock surveillance. They have a contract with the surveillance company Flock, but it reports that the partnership has not gone into effect yet. Essentially, this means that law enforcement can request your footage and you can then allow it or not. And I should say, too, that the search party feature is on by default. So if you don't want that on, you have to go turn it off. So, a lot of stuff like that is kind of going on. George says, "Oh, Ring, you creepy little bastards." Everyone freaking out all of a sudden, but their employees have been watching your cameras for years. Yeah. Yeah, there was, I might have lost it. There was another article that I wanted to share. I may have closed it out. But I mean, as far back as like, God, I want to say it was like, okay, here we go. So here, we can check this out. As early as 2016, yeah, I was going to say 2017, but as early as 2016, the company was courting police departments through free giveaways. The company provided law enforcement warrantless access to people's footage, a practice they claim to cut off in 2024. Not long after that, though, the company established partnerships with major police companies, Axon and Flock Safety, to facilitate the integration of Ring cameras into police intelligence networks. The partnership allows law enforcement to again request Ring footage directly from users without a warrant. So I'll leave that with you. Some people, I suppose, may not have an issue with that, but those are the facts. That's how it works. Personally, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. Just go read 1984 if you haven't already. There's a lot of people making those kinds of references and stuff without the full context. I feel like lately, especially with the whole search party stuff coming out recently. But I remember when Ring announced that, was it like earlier this year? When I first saw this whole search party thing, it just threw up red flags for me left and right. I just don't like the possibility of my footage, my cameras being interconnected with really anybody else. Not to mention neighbors, law enforcement, whoever. I'm just not a fan of that. What do you guys think? Let's see. Yesterday, the FBI announced it works. Larry says, the FBI announced it worked with Google to recover footage from Nest doorbell cam from the Guthrie kidnapping, even though she didn't have a subscription and it was 11 days old. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. I said the same exact thing. Tom said, I'm all about helping the police if I caught a crime on my camera, but I must be old school. They need to knock on my door and ask me. 100%. I'm with you right there for sure. Yep. It's just a privacy thing, right? It's just a privacy thing, security thing. Yeah, and I don't doubt that they can access that. They can access your footage if they really wanted to. Anything that is storing and utilizing the cloud for storage, they can get to it some way, somehow. Now, it might not be as easy as like Amazon's making it, for law enforcement and stuff, but it can be done, right? And so that's why I've just always been a fan of local storage. I have and do still utilize HomeKit secure video recording, which is really like the only cloud camera storage that I've used. I just, if I'm going to trust anybody with cloud storage, it's going to be Apple, out of all those. But even still, I've actually kind of gone away from that some, and just, you can do local recording. You can back up your own stuff on your own cloud and things like that if you want to. But when you just record locally in your house or on SD cards, a NAS system, or whatever you're doing, and no cloud access, then you don't have to worry about it. And that's the way I prefer to do it. But to each their own. Again, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you understand kind of what's going on, right? Oh man, thank you so much. Super chat from Gregory. Thank you so much for the super chat. I know my audio is not working, but we got the graphics there. Gregory says, thanks for all your work educating us on our digital homes. Any suggestion on smart smoke detectors? I used to use Nest, but no longer. Sure, I'll answer this one real quick. So, personally, now this is just me speaking. I don't really, that's one of the few device categories that I have not really gone all into. I've tried a few of the different smart smoke detectors, right? So I know Nest is one that a lot of people speak really highly of, the Nest smoke alarms, smoke detectors. And there are ways to get those into like Apple Home if that's what you want to do. But they don't natively support Apple Home. Again, I've tried a few different ones. The last one that I tried was the Sensario smart smoke detector. Let's see if I can pull that up. I think this is it right here. So this is the last one that I tried. Okay, and this one supports Matter over Thread, which is nice. I do like that. I have not had any real issues as far as I can tell with it, but I don't believe they have a hardwired version. I think it's just battery powered. So it depends if you need one that's hardwired or battery. I think they only have a battery powered one. I also tried the Owl Home smart smoke detectors. I actually did a video on that a while ago. I really wanted to like that one. Long story short, I'll just say that I don't really use any. What I did a while back in my house, I needed to replace some of my smoke detectors. I just went to Lowe's and I bought a bunch of I think they were First Alert smoke detectors with the 10-year battery life. So you don't have to worry about the batteries dying or the smoke detector chirping in the middle of the night for 10 years, right? You're supposed to replace your smoke detectors every 10 years anyways. So I got those with a 10-year battery life. They don't have any connectivity. They don't connect to Wi-Fi or anything like that. Just regular interconnected smoke detectors, right? They're hardwired, the ones that I use. And with that, I have HomePods in just about all of my rooms in my house, right? A HomePod mini or a HomePod of some sort. And they have a feature on it that can detect different sound alarms. So if you have a smoke alarm, a smoke detector that's going off and creating that loud siren sound, your HomePod will actually pick that up and it will send you a critical alert to your phone, to your whole family's phones if you have your family set up with it. And what's really cool about it is you get this check-in feature that I actually was thinking about doing a little short video or something on this because I think it's a very underappreciated and not, it's an underappreciated feature. I feel like it's not really talked about a whole lot, but you get this critical notification and it has a check-in feature. And basically if you have, through your HomePod, you can hit the button to get access to hear what's going on in your room. So if somebody's in the room, you can communicate just through that notification, ask if anybody's in the room or whatever. And what's cool is if you have a HomeKit camera in that same room where it's detecting that alarm, you'll actually get a live feed of that camera in that notification. So it all works really well. It's actually a really cool feature. Again, I think it's kind of it's not really talked about a whole lot, but it's a really cool feature. So if you have HomePods all throughout your house, you can kind of just use that feature to get, those notifications to your phone. Of course, you can't really create automations based off of that, like, turn the lights on or unlock the doors or anything. So that's kind of the downside versus a smart smoke detector, but I'm okay with that. Just the notifications is what I like having. So that's been kind of my route. Of course, you can check out anybody else's thoughts here. Tom says, my HomePod has never done that once. Is there something that needs to be turned on for it to work? I think there is an option. It might be in your HomePod settings. I'll have to revisit that. I'll tell you what, I've been kind of thinking about, I was thinking about this feature recently the other day because I was testing a water sensor, I think it was, and it has a loud alarm on it. So any type of loud alarm like that, it'll actually give you that notification, like a security system or something, would do it. But anyways, I got the notification and it just got me thinking about that feature again. So I think I'm going to make like maybe a short video on it here in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that, and I'll check to see what settings you need to enable if there is one. I feel like it is a setting that you need to enable. It might be on by default. I'm not 100% sure because it's been a while since that feature was first released, but yeah, stay tuned for that. Oh, let's see. Let me catch up in the chat here. Yes. Another good point here. Thank you. Abode has a smoke alarm monitor that will listen as well. So essentially, this one does the exact same thing as the HomePods do. So I do have an Abode security system. So there is a hub that you have to use the Abode security system. And it's called a smoke alarm monitor. I do have one of these also. And that actually does connect into HomeKit. And it shows up in the Apple Home app as a smoke detector. So, just by the looks of it, it looks like a smoke detector, but it does this. It acts the same way. It doesn't actually detect smoke. It detects the sound, just like your HomePod. So you'll get those notifications, and you can build automations off of that. So like if smoke is detected, turn on the lights or whatever. So that's another option right there. Those do work really well. Also, if you have an abode security system or hub already. Aaron, what's up, Aaron? Aaron Pierce in the house. Makes some awesome smart home apps for HomeKit. Aaron says, if it actually detects it. I mean, I personally have had really good success with it. Again, it just went off recently when I was testing another little device with a loud siren. I was out of town one year. This was maybe 2 years ago. And my wife and I were in Florida, and it was probably like, I don't know, it was like the middle of the night or something, and we did get that critical alert on our phone, and I was able to check the cameras and everything. I'm really not sure what triggered it, to be honest with you, because I have not seen a lot of, that was the only time I got a notification that, from what I could tell, I don't know what caused it. So I haven't got a lot of false triggers is what I'm trying to say. But it was nice, just to be out of town and be able to pull up the camera feeds and see, okay, there's not actually a fire. I did ask a neighbor to swing by the house and check things out just to make sure. But from my experience, it has worked pretty well. Anytime there is a loud siren going off, it seems to detect them pretty well. Okay, I'm sure I missed a lot of questions and comments here. We'll go ahead and I'll try to answer some questions and stuff now. I got a couple of them saved. Let's see here. Danny asks if anyone is having issues with Hue Apple Home integration after 26.3. All no response. I am using the Hue bridge, over Ethernet. Not sure if anybody else is having issues with Hue. I'm not using Hue bridges anymore. I don't use any Hue devices, I don't think. I do have one light, but no Hue bridge anymore. Go Rig Golden. Sorry if I said that wrong. Ask, would you recommend waiting for the U400 or get the FP2 now? I would probably get the FP2 now if you really wanted to go ahead and start building out some automations. That's the Aqara presence sensor with the zone control and stuff like that. They got a new one coming out, the FP400. Based on my conversations with Aqara at CES in January, it sounded to me like that's the one device they really wouldn't give me any time frame for, because I asked them about all their new devices, when they're going to be released. And that was the one that they just wouldn't really say anything about. So I got the impression that it's probably going to be like much later in the year. So, I mean, if you don't mind waiting, you can, but I think you might be waiting a while. That's just based off of my conversations and my gut feeling. Again, it's the one that they wouldn't tell me like Q1, Q2, they kind of told me for most of the devices except for that one. So I just got the impression it's going to be a ways out. So I would go ahead and just get the FP2. Has anyone used the Moen smart shower valve that is Matter compatible with Apple Home? I have not. That is the one thing I have not, possibly the one thing I have not automated in my house yet is the shower. The Moen smart shower valve. That would be cool though. I might have to try that. After getting a smart toilet, that might be the next natural progression there. Michael says, what is your preference, or what is your preferred brand for porch outside lighting? I was going to pick something up that can be automated with my G410 millimeter wave sensor. Good question here. So kind of depends on what you're looking for. The first one that comes to mind just naturally is Govee, because Govee makes so many different smart lights, both for indoors and outdoors. Their stuff is Matter over Wi-Fi, so that's something to consider. You got to have a good Wi-Fi connection wherever you're putting them. But Govee probably has the widest range of outdoor lighting, so string lights or whatever it is you're looking for. When it comes to, like, if you're just talking about on your porch, I am a huge fan of Lutron Caseta smart switches because they're just rock solid, super reliable. So on my front porch, I just replaced the switch on the inside that controls the light with the Lutron Caseta dimmer, and that works great for me. So if you're replacing the switch, you might want to go that route. And let's see, what else have I used? Porch lighting. Yeah, that's probably my 2 cents there. Obviously, if you're a Philips Hue user, there's some options there. The one Philips Hue light that I have is actually an outdoor Hue lighting fixture. So replaced like one of my outdoor lights by the garage with that. And I just have it connected either directly to Home Assistant or directly to maybe Homey Pro. I'm not using any of the Philips lights, so I don't have a Philips Hue bridge. So those are my options. If you can change out the light switch, then Lutron Caseta is always highly recommended. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Aaron says the Moen shower is a native HomeKit device, not Matter. Okay, that makes more sense. Let's see, saving some of these questions here, and thank you. Yeah, please do preface your comment with the word question. I see a bunch of these, so I'm going to save them. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. iPhone Photo Show, talking about the HomePod sound alerts. Go in the Apple Home app, go to your HomePod, and then go to sound recognition setting in your HomePod settings, and you can turn on listen for smoke and seal alarm. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I thought that was a toggle in there. I'm not sure. Can't remember if it's on by default or not. But yeah, that's what I thought. So I appreciate you confirming that right here in the stream. Perfect. Okay, next question. Let's see, answer that. Larry says, hate to sound like a broken record, but the Aqara FP3 still isn't available on Amazon. Did they lie to you? What's it, February 11th? I don't know, maybe they did. I think they told me by like February 10th or so. I trust you. It's been like showing up here and there. I know a few people were able to order one recently in the past like month or two. So definitely having some inventory issues there. Yeah, I'm not seeing it here still. I mean, it should be, hopefully mid-February, which, I mean, we're pretty much there now. So I don't know, maybe it'll show up in the next few days. Maybe by next week's stream, it'll be available again. ABC 589 says, currently researching into Aqara doorbell to replace my Nest Hello, looking to have wired HomeKit support. Is it worth waiting for the wired-only Aqara doorbell seen at CES? That one's a little tougher to answer than the other. Should I wait or should I not question? Because this one should be released pretty soon. I think they said Q1 or at least the first half of the year. So this one should be coming pretty soon, I think. So it just depends, I suppose, on how much you want to wait. If you could wait, you might want to. I think it's going to be a really good doorbell camera. That said, the G410 is the G410, right? The newest Aqara one that's available right now is a really good one. I prefer to use those wired if you do have the wiring, like a doorbell wiring where you can wire it to. I know one of the benefits of the new Aqara one that's coming out soon will be PoE support. Most people don't have Ethernet runs to their doorbell, so that may not be a factor for you. One thing that I like about the new one that's coming out is supposedly it's going to have a more of a vertical feed versus the other ones, which is, it's better. Like the last one was better, but it's still not totally vertical like a lot of doorbells. And that might just kind of depend on your layout, your front porch or whatever, on what you prefer. But I really like the fully vertical head to toe doorbell feeds. So for that reason, like personally, I would wait for that one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that one out, and it should be fairly soon. So I don't think you're gonna have to wait too long for that one. Tom says, blink twice if you know it'll be released soon, but aren't allowed to say yet. No, I know it's releasing. It should be releasing soon. I can say that, but I haven't been using one. It's not that soon. It's not that soon. I don't have one here or anything like that. But I think, like I said, because I know people ask me all the time, especially in these streams, like, when's this coming out? When's that coming out? I did ask Aqara about. I went down the list because they're just killing it with all these new products coming out, and I just wanted to know when everything, when you expect this to come out, when you expect that to come out. And of course, some things may be delayed and things happen, but I do remember that the doorbell was supposed to be, I want to say Q1, but definitely the first half of the year, just because my memory sometimes is not 100% correct. Yeah, SL SRL 7741 says Aqara doorbell is well worth it. It's feature rich and plays nice with the new Aqara thermostat W200 and door lock U400. Yes, that's a very good point. So I think the initial question was whether he should get the current doorbell that's available from Aqara or wait for the new one. Either way, they should play really well. Either one will play well with the thermostat and the door lock and everything. So all the Aqara stuff plays really well together, especially all the newer stuff. So even if you got the one right now, it should still work with the thermostat if you decide to go with the thermostat and the U400. U400 is awesome too. Michael Lewis, what's going on? Michael says, has anyone else tried the new AirVersa 3-button remote? I've not tried that one yet. Ordered the Hoobs Pro in May 2023 and I have never received it, and they are not giving me any date for shipping, and last month I asked for a refund. Also not yet received. I hope you can expose them. I guess they are now exposed. I'm not sure what I can do about that other than mention it here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I know. Hopefully they give you their money back. I think I've heard that they have refunded some people in the past at some point, but yeah, they announced that thing and have been taking orders for that for a long time. You said May of 2023. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what happened there with Hoobs. Oh, nice. Don, what's going on? Don says totally waiting for the new Aqara doorbell. It'll replace the Logitech Circle View, which is working fine, but has a head full of gray hairs. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Logitech doorbell was a pretty good one in my experience. I know some people had some issues, but worked well for me. Thank you. HomeKit Authority says, I am correct. It is Q1, but none of us have one yet. With a wink. Take that for what it for what it is. Yeah, so sometimes these questions are hard to answer. We're not supposed to talk about certain things we're testing and things like that. But Aqara is usually pretty good when they announce something at these big trade shows like at IFA or at CES. They'll usually tell you when it's expected to come. A lot of the times, if they if they're like getting close, if that makes sense. So that's why I said like with the FP400, they wouldn't give me anything. But with most of the stuff that they're kind of getting close, they'll be like, yeah, Q1, Q2, Q4, whatever. So awesome. Appreciate the confirmation there, Q1. So we should be seeing that pretty soon. Let's see. Oh, nice. Gregory, what's up? Thank you, Gregory. Sorry, Gregory. I don't know why I said Gregory. Jeffrey Gordon. I can't read today. Love the great work you've been doing. I appreciate that. I'll second the comment about Lutron Caseta. Been my most rock solid product of all my HomeKit devices. I strongly recommend them to everyone. Yeah, man, I agree. Thank you for confirming that. The Lutron Caseta stuff is it's just the one you just don't have to worry about. It just always works. And I don't say that about much because everybody's experiences are different and almost nothing is perfect all the time. Lutron Caseta is about as close to perfect all the time as they come. And I think most people have that same experience from what I've seen. Let's see. Thump Jimmy, thank you for joining us here. Thump Jimmy asks, do you or anyone know of a wireless waterproof keypad that can work like the mini switch? For example, enter code, lights turn on. When you say a keypad that can work like the mini switch, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. There's not really any keypads that can work independently. Like there's a lot that kind of pair with locks, but I don't really know of any that can work independently with Matter or HomeKit that I can think of. Obviously, there's a lot of different buttons and stuff. Like you mentioned the mini switch, which is just a button if I'm thinking of the right thing. I'm not really sure about that. If you have any clarification on that, maybe we can try to help out there a little bit more. And Jeffrey asks, Aqara, I'm thinking of adding water leak detectors, door and window sensors, and maybe more Aqara cameras to take advantage of HomeKit video. What, if any, hub would I need to bridge all this together? Okay, good question here. Personally, I would say if I was going to be, which I do use a bunch of these, right? Water sensors, door sensors, window sensors, all that kind of stuff. I use the Aqara M3 hub. And so that would be my recommendation if you plan on getting a bunch of Aqara sensors to put throughout your house, whether it's water sensors, door sensors. There are they do have their thread versions of some of the sensors. There are also other Matter over Thread products, but for me personally, I'm just still a fan of using a lot of Zigbee sensors throughout the house. The Aqara sensors for me has worked really well, and I think most people seem to have that shared experience. So the M3 hub I say because that's their most capable Matter hub, and also you can wire that over Ethernet, so it's just going to be a better connection. You're not having to rely on your Wi-Fi like some of the other hubs. You can, of course, use one of their cameras as a hub. The doorbell camera hub, they got the G5. They got a few cameras that you can use as a hub as well, but I just like having a hub that is basically just used for that purpose, a Zigbee hub for my Aqara sensors, because I do like to use a lot of them, and I hardwire that to my router just for the best connection. So that would be my recommendation on that. Jump to the top of the comments here. Yeah, and like Don said here, there's nothing wrong with this too. If you're going to get a camera anyways, you could use the Aqara cameras, many of them, like the G3 is a hub, the G5 is a hub, the G... I can't remember all these names. The newest doorbell camera can be a hub, and I've set up some of those for family and friends. You could maybe start with that if you don't want to invest in the other hub right away. You could do that maybe, but again, I like having my hub hardwired. It's kind of my preference there, but you certainly could use one of their cameras as a hub as well. And then I think I saw somebody mention here too, if like connectivity is, Torin right here says, make sure you get some Aqara smart plugs to extend the Zigbee network for all your sensors. It's a great point here. So especially if you're using something maybe like a camera hub that might be on the front of your house or, not centrally located, you might need to extend your Zigbee range. Certain Aqara Zigbee products will work as Zigbee extenders, and those are usually going to be your products that are constantly receiving power. So not sensors, but something like the smart plugs is one thing you could use, but you could also use their smart switches. If you have a neutral wire, their smart switches act as Zigbee repeaters. Also some of their lights, like the light bulbs, I believe, are Zigbee repeaters, as well as the light strip, the ceiling light. So some of those devices can help extend and strengthen your Zigbee network, which is something to keep in mind, especially if you have a lot of sensors that are maybe like towards the edge of your house or property or even outside. I actually have a couple of their door sensors outside on my gates, and stuff like that. So good points there. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and the size of your house too, Lone Star Trent. Thank you. Depends on the size of your house too. So my house isn't really that big, but if you have a huge house, definitely something to consider. Oh, nice. Wild Bill, thank you for sharing that. Says, I have the Aqara M3 hub. It works great, and it's the best IR blaster that I've used. That's another good point. I didn't even think about that because I don't really have many IR devices in my house, so I rarely use any type of IR blaster, but it can act as an IR blaster as well. So yeah, great point. And S. Robbins says, I have a small place and the G3 camera supports more than enough devices and rock solid. Hey, that's great to hear there. Awesome. So cameras can certainly act as your hub for your Aqara devices as well. Yep, and Michael, some great comments here. Thank y'all. Says the picked up the M2 hub instead of the M3 to just save a little bit of money. And the M200 is also another hub it's the only other one that you can hardwire over Ethernet. So if that's kind of your primary reasoning for getting one of these, then the M200 you should be able to hardwire also. Good point. A ton of repeat questions. I'm trying to get to them. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the questions. I usually star the questions. I may have missed some. I'm sure I do. There's a lot. The chat's kind of flying by. I try to stay up in the chat with you guys and not fall too far behind as well. ABC 589 says, I've heard good things from Aqara. There are quite a few that work via thread, but the basics, I would advise getting hub and be able to fine tune the sensors. Yeah, Like I said, and that's another thing too, the M3 hub actually has a thread radio in it, whereas the other ones don't at this point. So another point there, if you're looking to connect thread devices in the future to Aqara. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you here. I've used a bunch of thread sensors. I've actually been trying a bunch of the IKEA little thread accessories lately, but the Aqara Zigbee stuff just works so well. It's hard. It's just so reliable. So it's kind of been hard for me to move away entirely from Zigbee. And you know, when you have a bunch of Zigbee sensors and stuff connected to a hub, it's just really easy to maintain them. Also, if you're using multiple smart home ecosystems like I do, you know, sometimes I'll put stuff into like Home Assistant or Homey as well as Apple Home. And when you have everything connected to a hub, like an Aqara hub, you can expose that hub to, you know, through Matter to your different ecosystems, and all those sensors just come over. It just makes things really easy. I feel like a lot easier than it would be otherwise. You know, if all those sensors were connected over Thread, for example, you would have to then go to each ecosystem and like, you know, reconnect every single one every time. And it gets a little tedious when you're doing that. Jeffrey asks, can you talk about the hardwired hub locations, main floor versus in a rack in the basement? Is range an issue? Again, if range is an issue, it's going to be, if it's hardwired, the range issue would be your Zigbee range, and you can use those Zigbee repeater devices. The easiest one, if you're needing something just to extend the range, would be the smart plugs you can use to extend your Zigbee range. I don't have a basement in my house, so I assume that could potentially be an issue. I do keep my my M3 hub in my rack. It is centrally located in my house, so it does provide a really good base range for all my Zigbee stuff. And I haven't had any issues with it there in my house. Yeah, Terry knows what's up. What's going on, Terry? Says hubs are the way. A lot of people have issues with hubs. I've been hearing that forever. I totally understand it. You don't want a whole bunch of hubs, but I'm here to tell you I agree with Terry. If you're planning on getting a bunch of something, whether it's a bunch of smart bulbs, a bunch of sensors, something, hubs are the way to go. A bunch of smart switches, again, Lutron Caseta, hubs can make your life easier in the long run. Looks like we still there. You guys let me know if we're still there. Looks like had a little issue with my stream. We still there? Testing. Am I back? Make sure you guys can still see me here. Uh-oh. The comments are coming in. Still here? All right. Thanks, Jeff. Saw a glitch. Yeah. I don't know what that was about there. That might have been my camera or something. All right, good. We're still rolling. Cool. All right, let's see if we got some more questions that I have saved. Hawaii Sports Fan says, I watched your video of the Aqara vibration sensor for use as a dryer. How do I set up the notifications in HomeKit? Also, do you use a smart outlet for the washer? Let me check this YouTube. Looks like we're having some streaming networking issues potentially here, so hopefully the stream stays smooth. I have not used an Aqara vibration sensor or any type of automations for my dryer or anything in a long time. So that was an old video if you watch that. If anybody else is automating your washer or dryer, please do drop a comment, share your recommendations with Hawaii Sports Fan here. Again, I'm not really doing this right now. I'm not using a smart outlet for my washer. I just haven't really had a huge need to automate my washer and dryer. I know a lot of people do this, so there are some ways you can do it, but personally, I'm not doing it. And the notifications from a vibration sensor, for example, for a dryer can be a little tricky because you probably want to have some sort of delay in case the cycle like stops and then starts again or anything like that. And the problem potentially there, I think, is that the battery, I assume, would drain a little bit faster than it normally would, since it's just being like constantly, triggered a lot. So I don't know if anybody has any suggestions for us there. Let us know in the chat. Let me see. Let me catch up here. Lurk Jerk says, I have a smart socket to monitor energy usage. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I think if you're using energy usage, you probably need to be using something like Home Assistant. You're pretty limited there in Apple Home alone, I know. Homey Pro, yeah, works with Homey Pro. That's another one there too. You could probably do that for. Oh, dang, that's good to. Sorry to hear that, Don, but good to know. Don says, for those that use Home Assistant, the recent Home Assistant Matter update to non-Python trashed the Aqara M3 hub. That's not good. Still working with HomeKit, though. Yeah, so that's the thing, too. Tom says the LG washer he has, washer and dryer, works perfectly with Homey Pro. So yeah, there's a lot of smart washer and dryers now, so you might be able to connect directly to certain smart home ecosystems. Obviously, you can't do that with Apple Home. You'll need to use something else, but if you're using Home Assistant or Homey Pro, you might be able to connect your washer directly. I Am Raul has washer and dryer automations that have announcements. Nice. Yeah, the LG with thin Q and use Homey Pro to turn on a light and a bell. Nice. See, our washer and dryer is like really closely located to pretty much everything in the house where we're usually at, bedroom, living room, and all that stuff. So I really haven't had a need to set up those types of notifications, but I could definitely see myself doing this if the washer and dryer were like, on another floor or a different part of the house. Super helpful. John's asked, how many Homey Pro apps can you install? I don't know that there's a limit of actual apps. There is like a memory limit on there, but I haven't run into that. I know the newest, they just released a new model of Homey Pro. It's the same thing, but better specs, so you could actually store more on there. So you might want to look at the newer one, but yeah, I don't know 100%. I don't think there's a limit of like actual apps that you can install. For those who don't know, we talked about Homey Pro a few times here. This is Homey Pro. Trying to see the comparisons here. So there's those energy automations you can set up. And the cool thing is, if you do use Homey Pro, you can get everything into HomeKit from Homey Pro, so you can kind of get access to more stuff. Yep. Oconee Smart Home. Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. He says, my washer automations set reminders and timers so I don't let the wet clothes sour. If I'm home, it's a timer. If I'm not home, it sets a reminder that triggers when I get home. All right, that's pretty good. Nice. Let me see here what other ones we have. Speaking of Aqara, is the M3 hub needed if I have the G410 doorbell? I just got it today, but I have not set it up yet. This is my first Aqara device. No, the G410 doorbell, you don't need an Aqara hub. That connects directly over Wi-Fi, and that one is actually a hub also. So you can connect. Technically, can connect Aqara child accessories like sensors and stuff like that to the G410 doorbell if you want. So you do not need another hub if you have the doorbell. Okay. All right. Well, we have gone over a little bit today. I appreciate all the questions and the feedback from everybody today. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Again, new podcast, if you're interested in that with my wife, there should be a link down below. Also, I've got a new video coming out soon here on the channel, and we're looking to do some new things with the live stream here in the near future. Want to maybe bring some guests on and stuff like that. So definitely stay tuned, turn on notifications so you don't miss when we go live. We've got some fun stuff coming up. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and God bless.